Runway. Here is the split image aerobatic team. Flying as the wingman in a two-seat, it's Special S2B. Is runway. Smoke system coming on in just a moment. The split image aerobatic team. The flight display that you'll see the team do is designed to demonstrate grace and lyrical beauty of flight. We can all enjoy the experience of these two aircraft soaring in perfect harmony. Now watch as they climb vertically. The flight lead calls for the hammerhead. They pull into the vertical. Flying 180 miles an hour as they start to pull up, almost zero before they kick over in unison. Plummeting down with full power on. Now watch as they use another reversal maneuver. The half Cubanate is one of the basic maneuvers a fighter pilot learns. It's a way to lose an enemy aircraft that's on your tail. It's done by reversing your direction, pulling up into a half loop, actually a 5/8 loop, then rolling upright while getting airspeed in the steep dive. Many pilots have lived to fight another day because they could do a good half Cuban. Flying formation came about as a result of a large number of aircraft involved in air combat engagements during World War II. Trying to get aircraft to fly near each other without hazard requires lots and lots of training. Aerobatic formation harkens back to the 1930 Cleveland Air Races when the U.S. Army and the U.S. Navy began flying in front of crowds while doing loops and rolls. Here they come from the right. Sometimes the maneuvers that look easy are the hardest, and that's the way it is with the rollover. Watch as Spence, the wingman, rolls over and back. Well, the flight lead flies upside down in the inverted position. The lead, this brings a new meaning to the word trust, since he can't see his wingman at all. He rolls over the top and the bottom of the aircraft. Takes a steady hand and lots of practice to make this one come out perfect. Now watch as they turn the aircraft around and come back again. Formation flying requires intense concentration, very specific duties from each pilot. The flight lead positions the entire flight display as close to airshow center as possible, compensating for wind and density altitude, while the wingman must focus completely on the lead's aircraft. The flight lead has to be smooth and predictable so that the wingman can maintain position. Each pilot must trust the other totally. The flight lead trusts his wingman not to collide with him, and the wingman must trust the flight lead not to fly him into anything, because he's not looking at anything except a couple of points on the lead airplane and keeping those points in exactly the same relative position. This requires a special bond between the pilots. Okay, you heard Fast Eddie talk about it before. He talked about roller coasters. Well, aren't they great? Well, folks, if you've been on a roller coaster, you'll recognize this maneuver that's going to be coming up in just a moment. Pilots are going to be experiencing the same sensations that you experience when you take a roller coaster ride. Going a little faster, of course, and each of the maneuvers they do, inside, outside, over, and rolling over. Okay, using a wing over now to reposition the aircraft. Here, lots of talk about G-forces at air shows. 1G is the normal force of gravity. You're experiencing that standing here or sitting here. If a pilot pulls into a tight loop, the forces acting on his body increases body weight as much as 6 times. So here they come with lots of speed from the right. Now let's see if they have enough energy to the double loop. On up over the top. The team will experience high G-forces 4 times as they come around. Entering at about 200 miles an hour, they have 200 miles an hour at the bottom, and on up over the top again for a second inside loop. At 6 Gs, their heads feel like cannonballs, and it's hard for them to move their heads and arms to work the controls. They float over the top of the loop at 80 miles an hour. Their body weight drops to almost 0, and then diving back again, high Gs at the bottom. It's been said that aviation is not inherently difficult, just terribly unforgiving. And that famous quote sums up many of the acts that you'll see here today. Okay, here they come back from the left. The curved hammer is a graceful maneuver. The airplane's vertical line. They'll do a quarter roll in formation as they climb. Means that they're turning, rolling, and climbing all at the same time. Beautiful simultaneous hammerhead turns right at the top. The smoke trails converge as they pivot over the top. Climbing out of the maneuver, another quarter roll, so they're headed in the same direction that they started in, right down the show's center line. The members of the team, Ron Saglimbene and Ron Spencer, met a number of years ago. Sag was flying aerobatic contests. Spence was just getting seriously involved in the sport. Sag began coaching Ron Spencer, and it wasn't long before Spence was competing against him in advanced aerobatic competition. Their friendship and respect for each other's flying skill is demonstrated here today. Okay, smoke systems on and lots of energy again. About 200 miles an hour as they pull back on the sticks and start up over the top and completing 5/8 of a loop. This one called the full Cuban 8. The figure 8 lying on its side. Oddly enough, the maneuver has very little to do with Cuba, except it was first performed in Cuba, and when they asked Len Povey what it was, he said, "Oh, that's a Cuban 8." But it wasn't in Cuba, it was in Miami, and Len Povey was working for the Cuban government as a flight instructor at the time. He performed that maneuver that you just saw them fly. And when asked, that's when he said, "Oh, that's a Cuban 8." What makes the figure demanding when it's flown in formation are the rolls between the loops. The wingman has to roll his aircraft while he's looking at an airplane that is rolling also. A very challenging thing for a pilot to do. Coming back from the left once again. In their pit specials, this time a formation that is one of the team's favorite, the barrel roll. It requires the most precision in a constantly changing plane of reference. Climbing and rolling and maintaining that fingertip formation all the way around. It's a sort of a cross between a loop and a roll. The aim is to describe a corkscrew path of the aircraft tracing the outline of a barrel in the sky. When done properly, the wingman perceives no movement except for the horizon. And of course, that's constantly changing. The flight lead is absorbed with ensuring that the formation ends up on course and on speed each and every time. Conditions permit, we get to watch the team fly right around the inside of a barrel. And now they're going to gain a little bit more altitude, to have a little bit more energy as they come back in from the right.
Come on, Danielle.
Here they come with lots of energy from the right. This one they call Kathy's Heart. And we'll have silence as they perform for you the Saglimbene Aerobatic team. That was for you, Kathy. Coming back now toward each other, their closure rate is going to be over 360 miles an hour as they approach at 180 miles an hour each for the opposing rollover. And a gut-wrenching turnaround on your left. Sag carefully lines up with the show's center line, allowing Spence on the right to judge the spacing. They come by once again with a closure rate of 380 miles an hour. They'll roll into knife edge. Okay, looking to the left, looking to the right. They're heading toward each other once again. Now watch carefully as they come by, and let's watch the opposing rejoin. That's right, I said rejoin. See if you can figure out how they get these two airplanes back together again. Folks, what you're seeing here today may look easy, but I have to tell you that to be able to perform these kinds of maneuvers and formation requires desire and talent and dedication, and hours of practice are necessary before the air show season ever begins. These guys have to know each other like brothers, as their performance in the sky depends on knowing each other's reactions, strengths, and abilities almost intuitively. Now coming by for their mirror flyby. Put your cameras on. The split image aerobatic team. Split Image Aerobatic team thanks all the people who have made the show possible, especially each of you for allowing them the opportunity to entertain you. After the team lands, they'll media their aircraft. Sag and Spence look forward to meeting you. On the takeoff forward crew early. It is the Acme 55. Saglimbene, the lead pilot in the S2S. About to touch down, and Ron Spencer in the S2B, the two-place. The best aerobatic trainers available today. That's SAG rolling out in the lead aircraft, the single place. S2S. Okay, both aircraft on the ground. They have discontinued the formation, and as Ron Spence liked to say, he has slipped the surly bonds of SAG. No longer wired to the wing of SAG's airplane. They're going to be taxiing down in front of you in just a second.